Hello, Blues, and welcome to Inside the Tower. We're looking at the summer transfer window, the players we brought in throughout the summer transfer window, and also the deadline day deal of Merlin Roll. The German 23-year-old signs on loan with an obligation to buy from Freiburg. He's also played for the Germans under 21s, playing 13 times, scoring 2 goals. So he predominantly plays as a central midfielder, but has been utilised in different positions. For those who don't know too much about him, um, he's been looked at by a number of clubs. We were looking at him back in January. He's been on David Moyes' radar for a while, and we did share some information on the page back in January, February time, saying he was someone that Moyes was looking to sign. I think we wanted to get the top targets signed and in through the door before we went back to Merlin Roll. And obviously, when Harrison Armstrong joined Preston on loan, it gives us the opportunity to bring Merlin in. So, like I said, he can be utilised in different positions, but predominantly a central midfielder. He's 6'3", so some people may compare him a bit to a Fellaini-esque type of signing, but I think he will be drip fed into the first team. He won't be expected to hit the ground running. So it's a good thing for us and for him to bed him into the team over the next few months, and he'll definitely provide cover when Idrissa Gana Gueye goes to the African Cup of Nations. So he's a good, solid player to have him through the door. And like I said, if he does well, we've got an obligation to buy him. I know a lot of people were asking on transfer deadline directly, saying, is there any news on a right back? And that all depended on what was happening with Nathan Patterson. There was talk earlier on that he would join Sevilla on loan. That didn't happen. Moyes has told him that he wants to stay and fight for his place in the team. Whether he can stay fit and do that, we'll have to wait and see, because he hasn't really got into the team and made it his own since he's been there. I'm not too concerned with the right back, because Jake O'Brien's done a great job since he's been there. It's not his natural position, so he's not always going to be 100% on point. He will make the odd mistake, and his positional sense, he's got to learn that as a centre back going to right back, so it can be difficult. Seamus is there; he can still do a job. But he can't play 90 minutes and play 38 games a season anymore. The age he is now, it's sadly got the better of him. There's the youngster, Dixon, as well. I don't think he's quite at the level at the moment. So he's very pacey from what I've seen. When I've seen him last season a couple of times live, he looks pacey, but the final touch and pass isn't quite there. But it would have been great to bring in a right back, but what Moyes wants, he wants Premier League experience to come in right back, so you don't have to bed them in and get used to the Premier League. And that's happening with Asnu at the moment, the left back that we bought from Bayern Munich. He had an injury. He did play for the under 21s last night. He got some minutes in the bank, and there was no problems fitness wise or injury wise, so he could be potentially back after the international break. But again, he's one that's going to have to be drip fed into the team, and mixing it up with Mikalenko, and we'll see. Competition for places is going to be great now, and Moyes has always wanted that. He's always wanted competition for places. He wants two players for every position, and that leads me on to the goalkeepers, because again, we signed two goalkeepers. There's a lot of negativity. Why are we signing goalkeepers, and why aren't we getting a striker? Why aren't we getting a right back? Well, if you remember, we actually lost two goalkeepers, so we need a backup and a third keeper as well, and that's what we've done. Striker options, another one. Why haven't we signed a striker? A lot of people weren't too happy that we're only left with two strikers. Letting Chimiti go to Rangers, 8 million. He signed on a permanent deal. It was looking like it was going to be a loan with an option or obligation to buy, but that rises to 10 million as well. So it's not a bad bit of business. He's been at Everton for 2 years, lots of injuries, and never really got going at Everton, to be fair. I don't feel he's a Moyes type player, if you can say that, because there's a stereotype with Moyes that he only picks certain types of players, but I think that's been blown out the water with the attacking players he's brought in. So I don't think Moyes quite fancied Chimiti as a striker. So is it a worry? Is it a concern? Potentially. But I feel that the players we brought in, the Kieran Dewsbury Halls and the Jack Grealishes that we've brought in, really helps our attacking players, our strikers. Their attacking play against Wolves and Brighton sometimes was really good, and it's only early in the season. It's only going to get better. And Jack Grealish has hit the ground running. He complements our team so well with the players that are around him. The midfield, the attacking side of the midfield anyway looks so balanced now, where in previous seasons we looked so unbalanced on the wings. Even though Iliman and Jack Grealish aren't natural out and out wingers, they cut in a lot, but there's that option now that we have on the bench as well if we want to mix it up. So we look packed out in midfield, and I think that's the most important part of the field, the midfield, because you win and lose games in the midfield. But like I said, it complements himself. So with having Jack on the left, Iliman Ndiaye on the right, and Kieran Dewsbury Hall in that centre attacking mid, our strikers should be able to get a lot of goals because they should be able to create enough for the likes of Beto and Barry to score. I think we've seen that against Wolves. The attacking play was great. Defensively, we looked a little bit off it. And I think because Tarks has come back from that injury, he's not 100% at the moment, but we should be doing better when that ball's whipped across the box. We should be cutting out one, starting, we should be cutting out the cross. And secondly, we should be all over that ball, getting across that box. When you've got 3 or 4 defenders there against one Wolves striker, we should be doing a lot better. But that'll come. That'll come over time. We'll be better defensively because we've always been strong defensively. So back to the strikers, it's down to Barry and Beto who's going to get that starting position. I think Barry will take a little bit of time. He's young. It's a new environment. It's the Premier League, which is a tough league. It's not the same as the Spanish league, and he may need time to bed in. So we've got to give him that time. The only worry I have, it's not going to be another Moise Kean situation where it just didn't work. Whether that was down to his attitude as well, that could be something to look at. That he may not have the right attitude to start with. But Barry, let's give him time. He looked all right against Brighton, some of the touches and hold up play. But then we look at Beto. If he can keep scoring goals and he's in the right position, I'm sure the likes of Grealish, Dewsbury Hall and Ndiaye will be setting up plenty for him. So on the attacking front, I'm not too concerned because of the players we've brought in. Centre mid, I mean, Idrissa Gana Gueye and Jimmy Garner, I mean, watching Gana Gueye, he looks like a 25-year-old compared to a 35-year-old. So long may that continue. But I think because the likes of Grealish, Dewsbury Hall and Ndiaye will always come back and track back and tackle, it really alleviates the stress on Gana Gueye. So he's not doing as much, because you'd watch games where Dukes wouldn't track back. He'd just wander back. So it's more pressure on Gana Gueye to do more of the tracking and tackling, whereas if he's got the attack minded players coming back and helping out like Grealish did do on a number of occasions, it helps him and therefore frees up more for Jimmy Garner to do what Jimmy Garner does in centre midfield, and that's get stuck in and play a decent ball and hit a rocket against Brighton. So that portion of the pitch looks brilliant, and the bench looks brilliant now. And when Branthwaite comes back in, if he can get in, because Michael Keane's had a good start of the season, it's only going to shore up our defence. So it's looking positive. Yes, a right back and a striker would have been nice, but overall, it's looking a lot better under Moyes. I don't understand some of the negativity at times. I think I did say a few months back, we have to be patient. We have to be patient. We've had a good couple of games in the Prem, but football can change in a game or two. But we just got to remain positive. We've got to be patient with Everton and Moyes. It's going to take time. It's not going to be done in one window. I give it a couple of years, and he may have a decent squad of players, especially if our aim is to get back into the top end of the Premier League and push for European places. So let's look at Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Some negativity around him when we signed him, and from what I've seen playing for Everton, looks a solid player, looks really, really good. And him and Jack Grealish have an understanding already after a couple of games together. There was a lot of negativity saying he can only do it in the Championship. He only scores goals in the Championship. And I think he's proved a lot of people wrong since he's come in. I think he's done really, really well. And there's an understanding, there's relationships being built in that attacking side of the field. Then we look at the left-back situation. Mykolenko was injured and we brought Asnu in from Bayern Munich. He's only young. He played last night for the under-21s and got some minutes in the bank. Nothing wrong with his injury yet. He felt okay throughout the game, so that's a positive. Again, he's another one that's going to bed in to the team over the next few months and try and push Mykolenko. But Moyes wants 2 players in every position to really create that competition. So then it's down to the players to up their levels if they want to get into the team, which then is going to raise a standard each game that we play, because if you're not on it, there's someone else waiting on the wings to come on. Um, so yeah, I mean we've signed 9 players. We'll include Charlie Alcaraz. I've always said he signed on the 31st of May, and he was a player that was there with his last season, so he was already in the team really. So if you don't count him as a summer signing, we've got 8 in, including him, it's 9. And then we'll look at Diblin. We've not mentioned Diblin. It's all been quiet since he signed. He can't get into the team at the moment. It may take him a bit of time to bed in and fight for his position. So there's competition, which is great. He's another young player that a lot of people have talked very highly about. Someone who's a very similar to Jack Grealish in many ways, not just talking about the socks. I'm talking about the style of play. And he's only going to get better, especially under Moyes and working with the players that he's in the squad with, the likes of Jack Grealish, likes of Iliman Ndiaye. He's only going to learn off these players, so it's only positive. So there's our transfers that we brought in. Are you happy? I certainly am. Yes, we could have got a striker or a right back, but it is what it is, and we need to remain positive. But drop us a like, Blues. Give us a subscribe. It really helps the channel. The more subscriptions we have, the more chance we get to do more videos and share more information. The page is great as well, so keep following us on there. Any information, relevant and important information, we'll always share. I get a lot of messages off people asking what's happening. I can't always reply to every single message we get, but keep tuned, and hopefully we've managed to get genuinely good information. That's all we want to do on the page, is get genuine, good, solid information out there. We don't like clickbait. Some people have said we're clickbait. I don't think they understand what clickbait means, because that is you click on a link and it sends you somewhere down a rabbit hole, and we're not into that. We'll put the information and just say what is actually happening. If we don't know anything, we won't post. We don't try not to post rumours, but we will share the odd rumour here and there, because that's what it's about. We'll share what potentially could happen, as well as genuine factual information. That's what we try to do anyway, and we have done for the last 12 years we're coming into now. So keep following. Thanks for the support, and look out for the next podcast, which will be coming next week, where me, Liam, Adam and Rich will be discussing everything Everton. Take care, Blues. Take care.